Hey there, it's Jork. Welcome back to Portugal and Beyond. If you're new, please subscribe for information about Portugal, life, moving, travel within, as well as European travel news and updates as I get it. I try to pass it on. If you're returning, welcome back, and thank you very much for coming back. I appreciate that. Today we're going to go through the Belem neighborhood in Lisbon and show you some of the sites. I'll go through some of the pros and cons, both from maybe a tourist perspective, but also if you're looking to live there. So I like to start these off by going to the map. So let's take a look at it. The Belem neighborhood, one of the oldest neighborhoods, along with the Alfalma in Lisbon. It is one of the western neighborhoods. So if we're looking at kind of the main area where tourists go, it is to the west, but this is also a high tourist area. This is a place that if you're doing a tuk-tuk tour, a hop-on, hop-off bus tour, if you're only spending a day here or 2 days, Belem's going to be on the itinerary, maybe whether you like it or not. It is just, it's that important to the city, and it's just a main hub for tourism. And the reason why is a few things. So first, it's got the Jerónimos Monastery, this amazing Gothic style monastery that many people check out. There's long queues. I would say get there early because once the tour buses show up, you may be waiting an hour, hour and a half to get into the place. There is the Belen Tower, which is one of the main fortifications that kind of kept, I'll say, other like armadas and pirates at bay with its vantage point on the Tagus River. There is the iconic Monument to the Discoveries. This is something that was built to commemorate the golden age of Portuguese exploration. Henry the Navigator's on the front of this, but there is also Magellan, Vasco da Gama, Christopher Columbus, many other explorers, I'll say investors, king, queens, that are a part of this, that it's worth going into to see for sure, and a ton of tourists are there. And maybe more importantly from the food scene, the Pastéis de Belém, which is an egg custard tart, started in Belém at Pastéis de Belém. So they're the ones that created the monster, so to speak. These are not necessarily my favorite of the pastel de nata types, but it is one that it's worth going to because it's where the original started. You got to get in the queue. And I would say by 10 a.m. in the morning, 10 to 11, you may be waiting 45 minutes to an hour to get yours. So I would say if you're going to go, get a half dozen, get 6 or 8 and make them last for a couple of days. Now, as we're looking at Belém as well, there are many parks. It kind of sits right along next to the river, the Tagus River. So there are great areas for families, or if you want to just do lunch in the park or just go barefoot and walk around in the grass, you can do that. So there's a lot of area to kind of just get lost, if you will, right in the heart of the city and also within the heart of a tourist area. Now, I will say from a tourist or a living perspective, Belem's sort of half hilly, half flat. The area close to the river and where, well, all of the tourist attractions are, that's the flat area. But it's busier because of the tourist traffic. As you go up the hill, where many of the buildings are, the apartment buildings or small homes are within Belém, you do have to walk. So there is going to be hills there, but that's par for the course if you're in Lisbon. Most places have hills to some degree. The architecture, older buildings, because this is an older area of the city, there's a great deal of opportunity here. Several people move here, so let's get rid of tourist talk and talk about if you're going to live here or you're going to rent a place for a year or for several months, or you're going to move and you're going to buy a property. There are many places to rehabilitate. As you can see, there are newer facades and renovated buildings right next to ones that are falling apart and have been in disrepair for decades. So there's an opportunity here. And part of that too is the opportunity to get a little cheaper rent. So rents and some of the prices for the flats are less than the city center. As with most metropolitan centers, around the world, the farther you get away from that center, the more affordable property gets. So although you're in the Lisbon area, you're able to save maybe 100, 250 euros a month on rent for a similar size property that gets you closer into the city. And then you might be able to save 50 to 100,000 or more, depending on what type of property you're looking at in Belém, as opposed to getting closer, for example, where we are in the La Estrella area or closer into the city center. It's very beautiful. It's during the days, I'll say from 9 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m. during the high tourist season, it's a madhouse. Off tourist season, not too shabby. At night, there aren't a lot of nightclubs or bars in this area. People go to other areas, so you can get a place even in the tourist area and it's not going to be too loud. They do have a lot of transportation in this area. They have trams, they have buses, they have a train that's runs right next to Belém. And then, of course, you can do taxi and Uber, rental car if you choose. But there's many options to get to and from Belém and get around the city. It's a very cool area. I like walking around the area. I don't know if we would live there just because we wanted something that was more residential and less touristy. But I wouldn't have you dissuade you from moving or looking to stay there for a year or committing to a property if you're going to buy. You can't go wrong. It's an area that is always going to be in demand. It's going to be an area that will always be top 3 or 4 from a tourist destination. So there's always going to be foot traffic and people checking out that area. So that's a place from a short-term or a long-term investment perspective is a really good thing. And the area is very cool. It's close to a lot of stuff as well, and some great views when you get along the river. So I would recommend it. It's something, again, for us, we wanted just more residential only. But if you are wanting a great experience that blends both the tourist and residential together in, I think, in a calmer way than the Chiado or the Barrio Alto or the Alfama area, this would be a place to maybe set up shop. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got several more neighborhoods to get to. I'm going to be on holiday or vacation for several weeks, so it may take me a while to get more of the neighborhoods in, but I will keep going. I have still probably 10 or more to get to within greater Lisbon. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and enjoy your travels. Hey, thanks so much for watching the full video. If you get a chance, and if you're interested in reading some crazy workplace stories, please check out my 2 books, Magnet of Madness Volume 1 and Volume 2, both available on Amazon in ebook or softcover. If you want to make fun of me, there's plenty of stories where you can do that. If you want to make yourself feel better about the job that you're in, it'll make you feel better too. But crazy stuff that happened over 30 years, you won't believe it until you read it. So thank you so much for watching. And if you get a chance, pick up a copy of one of these on Amazon. Thank you so much.